Alright, today we're going to review the Rheem Platinum on-demand water heater. After 2 years of using it, we will go over the pros and the cons and compare the tankless unit to a traditional water heater. The first thing you will notice is that the tankless water units are smaller and wall-mounted, saving you space over traditional water heaters, freeing up some square feet that you can use for something else, or just giving you more room to move around. You also don't have to deal with hot flutes or pilot flames, less metal piping, and better aesthetics. With tankless, there is no hot surfaces or constant flame from the standard pilot. With tankless water heaters, you can use PVC piping instead of metal piping. PVC piping is easy to work with and install. Most tankless water heaters just require 2-inch PVC piping for the intake and exhaust, which is then connected to a concentric pipe that does the venting and the intake from the outside. Here you can see I had to make 2 holes going outside because I have 2 units, but usually you will only have 1 hole per unit. This outside vent will exhaust any natural gas that did not burn up, as well as intake fresh air. So wherever you have the intake exhaust pipe, you will get condensation, and it sometimes smells like gas when the unit kicks on and off. So beware where you place your outside piping. With tankless water heaters, you will need a pump. This pump removes any condensation from the unit. My pump is connected to the washing machine drain. Note that this water is very acidic and it can corrode metal piping. Your best bet is to connect it to a PVC drain such as the one used by a washing machine. Now that you know what is needed to install it, let's talk about the unit itself. Most units, including the Rheem Platinum, come set at 120 degrees Fahrenheit from the factory, but I found that this is not hot enough for me. Luckily, you can change the temperature. Check out my channel to see how. I set it to 130 degrees and this was sufficient for me. As you can see, I set the temperature to 130 degrees and I'm getting about 126 to 128 degrees on the second floor, which is not bad at all. One of the greatest things about the tankless water heater is the constant hot water. The water temperature rarely fluctuates, it just stays a nice constant and steamy temperature. This is where you really notice a difference from a traditional water tank. This unit has a max temperature of 140 degrees. So these tankless units do make some noise when they cycle on and off. Let's listen to it. So be mindful where you place these units. For me, this was not a big issue, but if this is on a wall near a bedroom, it could be an issue with the noise. Again, for me, it wasn't an issue and I didn't find it that loud, but beware that these do make noise when they cycle on and off. These units do require maintenance once a year. You will need to flush out the unit yearly. This can be done with this kit that I have here, which I'll leave in the description, or you can use vinegar to flush out the system. This is not too much of a drawback since traditional units also require you to flush them out from time to time and to change the anode rod every few years. Flushing out these tankless units is done with these service valves. Check out my channel to see how. Besides the constant on-demand hot water, one of the biggest selling points is that they're high efficient and will help you save money. Unlike traditional water tanks, there is no standing pilot constantly heating up the water even if you don't use it. Keep in mind that this savings is best case scenario. Gas prices have gone up tremendously and I'm not sure if the savings is actually there as Rheem claims it is. When the unit gets a call for hot water, it turns on and heats up the water. Notice the red flame indicator. This means that it's on and heating up the water. Another thing that you will need is a 15 amp electrical outlet. These units use very little electricity, but you will need an outlet, as where most traditional hot water tanks will not need one. One minor drawback is when you first turn on the water for the very first time, usually in the morning, you will need to wait anywhere from 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes for hot water. This usually only happens when you haven't used hot water all day long. Usually it takes about 5 to 10 seconds to get really hot water. One way to get around this is with a recirculating pump. This will go ahead and move that cold water out of the pipes and make sure that it circulates it back to the tank. So when you open the tap, you have hot water. Again, if you have, anywhere from 2 to 3 bathrooms, it's probably not going to be a big deal. This mostly depends on how far the pipes are from the tanks itself. So it's important that if you have really long pipes far away from the unit itself, that cold water is going to be sitting there and it's going to take you longer for the hot water to reach your tap. For most homes, you're not going to need a recirculating pump and this is not something that you have to worry about, but just keep in mind that the further the pipes are from the tank, the chances are that you're going to wait a little bit longer to get the hot water. Again, this is not really a deal breaker. It only happens when you first turn on the water, let's say in the morning or after work. Usually throughout the day, it takes anywhere from a few seconds to 15-30 seconds to get hot water, so it's almost instantaneous. So in this review, I'm using the Rheem Platinum 9.5 gallons per minute on-demand hot water heater. Rheem will tell you that this unit gives you constant hot water at 9.5 gallons per minute. This is not accurate. 9.5 gallons per minute is for optimal conditions at a 35-degree rise. The more faucets that are on, the less gallons per minute you're going to get. Also, the colder the water coming into the unit to be heated up, the less gallons per minute you're going to get as well. So there's a few caveats that you should know about. The advertised 3 to 4 bathrooms and 9.5 gallon per minute again is ideal conditions based on a 35-degree temperature rise, and you will see better gallons per minute if you live in a warmer climate and are on the first floor closer to the tankless unit. The temperature rise is the temperature of the cold water coming in compared to the temperature that you want the water to be heated to. In my case, I set the hot water to 130 degrees. Again, this is a temperature rise of 80 degrees and it will decrease your water flow.
All right, turn it on. Okay, turn it off.
I paid about $1,200 for each unit and another couple of hundred for the valves and piping, and altogether it cost me about $2,500 to install per unit. This includes all the parts, all the labor, but I did get some rebates from the gas company of about $700 to $750 per unit. So check your local gas company because there might be rebates out there. So keep in mind that where you live, if you live in a cold climate and it takes more effort to heat up that water to a temperature that you want, it's going to decrease the gallons per minute. If your piping is longer and you have a big house, it's going to decrease the gallons per minute. And again, Rheem and these manufacturers are giving you the best case scenario here, and really these are ideal conditions that you're probably not going to get at home. So keep that in mind. So, was it worth it? For me, going from a conventional water heater to a tankless water heater made sense because, one, my conventional water heater was on its way out, so I opted for something a little bit more modern. Number two, I got back around $700 in rebates for each unit for installing energy efficient water heaters. Number three, I wanted to save on gas, although I'm not sure if the savings really matches what the manufacturers say. And number four, I wanted constant hot water even after my kids took very long showers, and that has been fulfilled. The best part is that the water is steamy and always a constant temperature. It has elevated my showering experience, and for all the cons I previously mentioned, I would not go back to a traditional water tank. Tankless water heaters are not perfect, but after 2 years I'm still enjoying it and I still feel good about my investment. A unit that works, that is dependable, and giving me constant hot water as promised, even if Rheem has oversold itself and inflated the specs on the unit. Thanks for watching, and I hope this has been informative. Put a like, leave a comment, tell me what you think about the review, and share your experience. Also, please check out the description for links to products used in this review. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.